Hi everyone, I just wanted to share my thoughts and add my 2 cents of what I thought of a new documentary that came out, the Vice Versa Crusaders Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses Speak Out documentary that recently came out last week. I was able to watch it. I've watched it a couple times so far. And I love whenever an XJW documentary comes out. Not for dishing out the dirt or talking about the nasty side, but because it really it brings out the truth about Watchtower that they don't want you to know. And that's stuff that needs to be said, that they always just try to cover up. Firstly, it was a very well done documentary. All the interviews and the video clips just came together to make it a perfect documentary. I really love the way they put it together with the video clips, the music, the interviews. I like the quote that Barbara Anderson made, somebody who actually worked at Bethel. And she said they should do the right thing, but they don't do the right thing. Which is really true. When it comes to covering up the sex abuse. And I think to myself right away, because even when I was a witness, you were told stuff like, Jehovah will take care of it in his due time. It's not so much a crime as it is a sin. And what's a classic one? We must obey God as ruler rather than men. At one point they show clips of printeries at the Bethels printing out tons and tons of literature, and just how it used to be so busy and so abundant, and all the magazines and books and videos that they produced at one time. Man, I'd love to see a clip of what those printeries look like nowadays, because they'd be pretty scarce and empty. With what, one Awake and one Watchtower starting next year, of the public editions at least. That's down from what used to be when I was in. I was in when it was still 2 Awakes a month and 2 Watchtowers a month, and they were 31 pages each. Now and I know they've sliced them in half, and they've been going down less and less new ones every year. Another thing I liked about this documentary is just it highlighted the issue of how the governing body would rather just keep covering up the child sex abuse issue, and rather than admit it, and they can't even apologize. They'll never apologize or admit that they're wrong. Like, you'll never get... It seems kind of childish to me. So what, if you just keep denying and ignoring it, that it'll go away? Some really good points that were made. Like, they don't like anything that casts them in a negative light. Just whether it be the child abuse, the apostates, the XJWs, any books or news articles that are written. What do they always, the only response that you might get from any of them, it's apostate-driven lies, or Satan is trying more than ever now to attack God's people. Leave it in Jehovah's hands. And this documentary, really shows how another way that the governing body, that they do have a secret database of all the lots and lots of files on all the child sex abuse cases concealed away, and that they'd rather keep them concealed and hidden and pay daily fines for not handing them over to the authorities, and they let their and then they continue to let their members suffer the abuse and what I would just describe as torture, like emotionally, maybe physically even, for years and years and years, and that makes them that makes the governing body like very dishonest, cruel, and I will say evil as well. You know, one thing I love that they interviewed Stephen Hassan in this documentary. I highly recommend reading his book, Combating Cult Mind Control. It is, I mean, if there's anyone, they really chose a great person to interview when it came to that part. And I like, another point I liked in this documentary is the Armageddon, that, at least the version that the JWs teach. You know, everyone will die at Armageddon except JWs. And the fear and the dread that they put into their members, that's part of the reason that they go preaching. They have to try to convert as many as possible, or they might be held blood guilty. And it's very harmful and destructive. You're never good enough. You know, you can try and try and try the members, but like, you know, you're never good enough. It's, and all this, and they're not even, you need to remember, the Jehovah's Witnesses do not teach the true biblical meaning of Armageddon. And they keep all their members in the dark, and they forbid any question, criticism, etc. You know, say it's all lies. They're really controlling with this us versus them mentality, black and white thinking, no gray area. You know, one thing I thought, you know, the Bible teaches us to defend our faith. So, the question I would have for Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, like, where's your suit of armor? Where's your sword? Doesn't the Bible say to love your enemies? No. Like, but what's your reaction when anything negative comes along, or any criticism, or you encounter an apostate? You're told by the governing body and higher up to just ignore it, dismiss it all as lies. And one way I see that is as, you know, running away like cowards. That's not a good way to strengthen your faith. You have to, like a lot of learning, you have to encounter the bad in order to strengthen yourself. Like, it kind of a lousy example, but it kind of applies. Like, you have to get sick in order for your immune system to strengthen. Trying to go to extreme measures so you'll never get sick is not going to is ultimately over a long period is going to weaken the immune system, not strengthen it. I think that's how similarly that the Jehovah's Witnesses react to like anything in the outside of their organization that talks about them badly. You know, this documentary brought out one of their most ridiculous teachings. I always thought it was nonsense, even when I was in. that two witness rule. Like, guys, like, come on, seriously. In the case of abuse, molestation, pedophiles, a lot of times those are definitely situations where the wrongdoer is gonna purposely wait for just the right moment, just the right situation. They don't want anybody to be around, a good opportunity to do it. It's very rare that you're even gonna have one witness to these kind of horrible acts. Just stupidity and utter nonsense that the Jehovah's Witnesses insist on applying this two witness rule to justify denying members that come forward with stories and claims of being victims of these horrible acts. It just brings out the documentary just brings out how manipulative and controlling the governing body is, like, when it comes to telling their members, like, how to live, what they can and can't do. Avoid any outside information, basically. Like, anything the news media says, nope, it's all lies, don't even listen to it. What I hear, stay in your little box, keep your mind closed. Keep your brain turned off. Oh, man. Just, I don't think that's the government. I think that shows more what the governing body has to hide. Like I've said it before, what are they so afraid of? That they have to bar their members. They're confined only to their website and their broadcasting channel. They touched on the blood issue. I'm grateful I never had any situation that I had to apply that myself. I guess I was fortunate in that way. I would have, I really think that's just another ridiculous teaching that they view any way you put it into your body is essentially eating it, like with the blood. Like, that's stupid. Just their shunning policies, and another issue, their shunning policies. They're very destructive, harmful, dangerous. They're causing division in families. And for a family member to change their beliefs, that they view that as so wrong and unacceptable. Like, I think a lot of XJWs will say, even me, there is no good way to leave this organization. It's definitely one where it definitely applies that it's very easy to get in and become a Jehovah's Witness, but it's very difficult to leave. Even me, it ultimately took me a few years to slowly wake up and plan how I was gonna get out of it. It was too, I'm not one to make a big show out of it. I wanted to just more slip out unnoticed for the most part. Not make a scene of the whole thing, And like shunning, it's gotta stop. You're harming so many lives in so many bad ways. It's not good. my summary of this documentary, it's awesome. The testimonies of the ex-JWs really tells the truth about what really goes on in organizations like the Jehovah's Witnesses. All the stuff that they don't want you to know. And these former members, they lived it. They know what they're talking about. And they're helping to expose the Jehovah's Witnesses, all their dirty little secrets, and I applaud that, because we need more. We need more of this. You're never, even, I would say, people really need to know the real truths about the Jehovah's Witnesses. One reason why I make my videos and keep putting my voice out there is because, I used to think that Jehovah's Witnesses really had the truth. Now I know they don't, so I feel a stronger need to spread the real truth about the Jehovah's Witnesses much more than I ever had a passion for preaching as a Jehovah's Witness. They keep their members in such a darkened room, and I want to bring some sunshine into that room, shine some light. And if I can help anybody in just seeing the Watchtower for what it really is, then I've accomplished something far better than what formerly preaching as a Jehovah's Witness could ever have done. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching my video. Please like and subscribe if you like. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.